This episode of The Sportsman's Empire is brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Since 1952, Interstate Batteries has been evoking compassion and a trustworthy spirit into the surrounding communities. Interstate Batteries is a mission-driven company fueled by purpose and guided by their values. If you need help locating a specific battery, stop into your local Interstate Batteries retail store and speak with a battery specialist. They even offer cell phone repairs. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Man Therapy. My name is Dan. I'm one half. We got Kyle sitting across from me. He's the other half. Kyle, how has the month of January been for you so far?
Boy, it went by really fast. I'm happy to be healthy now, and somehow my whole family except for me has escaped being sick, and so I'm pretty fine with it.
Right.
When somebody's sick, it just like affects everybody.
Yeah, it'll come at the exact moment you do not want it to come.
That's
like
true.
Spring break, or like for our family, my oldest boy, he got pulled out of school one day. I got a funny story.
Yeah.
I get a call on my cell phone. It's from my oldest boy. And if he ever hears this, he'll probably get extremely embarrassed, but that's the point. He's like, Dad, can you come pick me up? I don't feel good. I'm like, what's wrong, buddy? And he's like, well, I thought I had a fart and poop came out and my tummy hurts and whatever. And I questioned him because he gets nervous sometimes, and he says he's sick, but he really doesn't. That's his MO. But long story short, he barfs at home and he doesn't make it to the toilet. He barfs all over the bed. He barfs all over the carpet. He barfs all over. Oh yeah. Just like in between the bed and this dresser. And it's just like everything, all the places you don't want it to. Anyway, so I go in to talk to the nurse, and I said, he said he farted and some poop came out. And she goes, yeah, but he shouldn't be embarrassed about that, because you would be surprised at the number of kids that do that every single day.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to sit there and imagine what it's like to be a school nurse talking to kids who just shit their pants all day long. Like,
oh, dude, I couldn't even imagine. It would be hilarious. Also, nurses
hilarious.
are freaking saints. Nurses are saints for everything that they put up with and everything that's normal to them. That's like wild to us. Like, thank God for nurses.
Yes. So we had that sickness kind of going through.
Oh yeah.
Going through the house, and he's fine now. And we're just waiting for someone else to get sick, because we're leaving tonight to go to a wrestling tournament. So then, and we're going to the high school wrestling tournament, and then we're spending the weekend in Des Moines. And on Sunday, Ava, my oldest daughter, has a wrestling tournament as well. And so it's one that everybody's been looking forward to. We had to get her hand in for x-rays this week, because we thought she potentially broke her hand, of all places, not at wrestling, at dance. She did some like trick and she landed on her hand wrong, bent it all the way back. And so
man. I've seen her dance. She's a great dancer. She's very athletic. She's really athletic.
She's lucky that she has a build. I mean, we all have the build, but we don't all have the, like, some people are just genetically more lean. Like my wife is genetically a lean person. I am not. I come from a long line of obese Vikings. So I might be strong in certain parts. I'm not that quick, but I'm good at eating, probably. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I was just saying I was going somewhere with that, but I don't know where I was going with it.
Yeah, that's okay. She's doing good. Like, her wrestling season's going well, isn't it?
Yeah. She's doing good, man. She's doing good. And she has high expectations for herself, at the state tournament, but, wrestling is a tricky thing, because it's the only sport where how much you weigh matters. right? And, depending on who you talk to, they say, well, you shouldn't cut weight. You should just wrestle at whatever you're at as a kid. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's one of those things where if Ava stays where she's at, there's going to be girls that are going to be cutting from 10 to 15 pounds heavier than her just to make a weigh-in. And then 24 hours after that, when they start wrestling, that person will be 10 pounds heavier than, than my daughter. And so it's a very tricky sport to learn how to eat clean and know your body enough to maybe drop a couple pounds in a week or so, or try to do it over a period of a month, whatever the case is. And it's something we're learning as we go on. It's part of it, unfortunately, but weight classes and things try to make it even, but then you put it puts the kids into jeopardy sometimes if they don't do it the right way. I mean, I've seen some people at weigh-ins at state that look frail and pale and just extremely dehydrated because they wanted to get down to a weight where they could dominate, and then they would rise back up 10 pounds in the next day. So
yeah, I've seen that too. My heart went out to the wrestlers that I went to high school with. It just they weren't even there. I mean, they were there, but they weren't there.
Yeah. And the rules have changed since then too, right? Mm-hmm. So for wrestling, when I was in high school was one of the first years they said that the wrestling room could not be over 80 degrees in the wrestling room. And kids were wearing rubber suits to cut weight, doing a whole practice in 80 degrees and just torturing their bodies. I know kids who have permanent problems because of weight cutting now. Taking we had this one kid, he took diuretics to make weight, and then he shit his singlet while he was wrestling, and then he pinned the kid because the kid was like, "You crapped your pants," and it was just gross, right?
Yeah.
Pinned him, walked off the mat, went and changed singlets. Just some of the things that were going on were just nuts, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
And so it's better. It's better now that they have a weigh-in up front, and then that tells them you can only lose this much weight throughout the season. This is the bottom line. You can go after that. You won't be allowed to wrestle.
Wow.
So
okay. That's good if it prevents a lot of that stuff. Cause I think, I don't want to make a lot of wrestling fans mad, but I think at the extreme ends of it, I think it's child abuse. And any adult that encourages a kid to do that to themselves, I think is unhealthy. I think that's ridiculous. And they've lost sight of the long-term health of the kid.
Oh, 100%, dude.
So,
check this out.
That's gross.
I know secondhand through a very good source that they were cutting weight on a third and fourth grader. So much so that his body has now reacted to the point where he has stopped growing, and he is way behind in size and weight and now he has to try and he's on the opposite end of everything.
Oh yeah.
And now they're trying to get him to kickstart his growth. So they're giving him growth hormones now and testosterone to try to get him to go, because they've abused him for so long. That is child abuse. 100%.
That's totally child abuse. And I don't shun wrestling as a sport. I think wrestling generally speaking is awesome. But at that extreme end, it's shame on those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, and there's child abuse at every level. I've seen it. And it's not just wrestling. I've seen it at baseball. I've seen, accurate. A kid strikes out and a dad goes berserk. After the game, grabbing him and shaking him and I spend this much money on you for, these lessons, and you can't hit a fucking ball. Brr, 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 brr. Just oh my God. There's been times that I've really wanted to step in and say something, but just kind of let it ride out. Yeah. And it's not just boys. I've seen it at softball tournaments, basketball tournaments. That was a dumb pass. You made that and your team lost. And it's that's the fastest way to have a kid not give a shit about the sport that you're passionate about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. How often do you see it be the mom that's laying into the kid?
At wrestling, the mom doesn't lay into the kid per se. She is the one who is screaming at them during the match and throws the phone when they lose. and gives them the "you failed me" look type of deal. But it's always the dad who's, doing the ultra critiquing after the match and after they lost, like they can help it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Because they're
yeah,
all stars.
yeah, exactly. Or they're failed all stars who wishes, and that's that's good. You ask any professional athlete who made it to the pinnacle, they don't even give a shit at certain points what their 10-year-old is doing. They just want them to have fun because they know there's a ton of hard work, and puberty on all sports is the definer for, I've seen kids not start wrestling until 9th grade and just dominate people because genetics and work ethic trumped skill set after a period of time, So,
Yep. I've heard a lot of top athletes talk about how they want their kids to be multi-sport athletes and they don't want them specializing too early. I'm like, that's a breath of fresh air. I like that.
Yep. That's one thing I tell, because I do a lot of coaching. That's one thing I tell the parents after the season's over. I'm like, get them in as many sports as you can, and let them enjoy the team culture with their friends and have fun. Right. And so,
absolutely.
Yep. What about you, man?
Well,
what's good?
Well, I was going to ask you, since you told that story about your son crapping his pants at school.
Yep.
I thought you should reveal an embarrassing story about crapping your pants. And I wonder, did you ever crap your pants at school? And if not at school, I'll take any other acceptable time.
Let me tell you one of the most embarrassing moments of my school career.
Let's hear it.
And I know why you're doing this, because you want, if the son ever heard it, you want him to say, okay, I get it. I'll share an embarrassing moment.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so there was a time in high school where I have no idea how and why, but there was a group of my buddies who were juniors, and we were hanging out with a group of somehow the most attractive and popular senior girls in the school. And I think it was through like student council and sports and things like that. And then one of my buddies started dating one of them, and it became this thing. Well, we were sitting on the stage in the auditorium at school, and I was like, dude, I'm going to do this. I saw a sick ass breakdance move, and I'm going to try it right now. And as I tried to do this windmill, you see him do the windmill.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, let's give it a try. And I did it as I was standing up, and I landed on the small of my back, and I farted so loud in front of all of these girls and all of my buddies. So my buddies obviously started laughing. The girls started laughing. And I was immediately put into the friend zone because Dan is now so funny. You're so funny. Yeah. Now, if I would have landed that move and didn't fart, I would have been cool and probably could have dated one of them.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But instead I missed it, landed right on my back, and now I was put into the friend zone with all of these girls.
Oh, that's classic. That's a great story.
Yep. There's like 4 of them. There was 4 of them. They were just, really attractive and really popular. And it was like, oh my God, that's crazy, dude. So
you locked yourself right out.
Yep. Right out.
Oh, that's so funny.
Out. So that's one of my most embarrassing moments in high school. Yep.
I love it. There you go. Now, if your son listens to this, you can hear that. I'll share one. I'll share a pooping at school story. I was okay. I was super excited about my outfit. It was all white. I was white to white to white. I was white shoes, white socks, white shorts, white shirt. This is in the summer. I'm like, yeah, today's going to be a good day. I like my outfit today. And my stomach was just a little off, a little gassy. This is probably 4th grade, 4th, maybe 5th grade. And I was just like, oh man, I'm just not feeling great. And I'm like, I had let a few farts, and then just got a little too brave and let another one, and just straight up felt a squirt.
Yeah.
Just felt a squirt. And I was like, oh no. And I was wearing whitey tighty, so it was contained, but I was like, uh-oh. Like that was a legit squirt, like a pump of flavor into coffee. Like it was Yeah,
Yep.
it was a squirt. And I was like, oh God, wonder how bad this is. And dude, big it was a big brown spot on the back of my white shorts, and I was so humiliated. I didn't tell anyone. I like I sidled, like sidestepped everywhere
Mm.
I went with my back to the wall. Like, dude, I kept my back to the wall all day, sat on my chair at my desk, like did all the things. And to this day, I kids are so perceptive. Like, how did nobody noticed it? Nobody made fun of me. I was waiting for it all day for
Mhm.
somebody to notice and then make fun of me. For some reason, nobody did. And then I was just so happy to get out of school. But the whole day, I'm sure I reeked like shit, and ruined my shorts. And it went from like, this is going to be a great day because I love my outfit, to like, man, I think I ruined my favorite shorts.
Yeah.
And I was just humiliated all day, and just like, I just wanted to disappear.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Oh my
It'd
God.
be funny if like you made it the whole day, nobody noticed, and then you walk in the house and your mom's like, "Hey, you shit your pants!" Like it was your
Right.
mom who made fun of you at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Denise would never.
yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, man, I can't remember. I mean, as an adult, um, on some long car rides that there was a lot of coffee involved. I
Oh
had
yeah.
some really close
Oh,
calls at some truck
exciting, isn't
stops.
it?
Yeah, where I rolled the dice till the next exit
Yeah.
and the pressure was coming and I had to like sprint through the Love's truck stop
Oh
to
yeah.
drop the pants and probably just nick the toilet seat on the way to the water.
Oh yeah, dude, I know it. Oh, actually, that reminds me of probably my most famous poop story. I was in track in high school,
Mm-hmm.
and at a track meet at some other school. So I wasn't on home turf. Like, my stomach just wasn't right, a little gassy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was in the 200-meter dash, and so I'm in the blocks, and gun goes off, boom, I take off running hard. Every single step, I fart every step.
The
Okay.
running farts. Yeah.
Yeah, the running farts, totally.
Yep.
And I get done and did fine, didn't win, didn't lose, cool. And I'm like, oh, that's still warm. Uh-oh, that's still warm. And so I look down and like, oh yeah, I had fully crapped my pants. So then
Yes.
I was at this strange school, and I had to cowboy walk all the way across the whole football field, the whole infield, to get to like
Mm-hmm.
the bathroom area that was open. And then I just peeled my whitey tighties off because they were full of shit. And I just left them sunny side up in the middle of the bathroom floor, because teenage Kyle thought that was hilarious, that the next person that would come in would like see that. So I just left them sunny side up, right in the middle of the bathroom floor, cleaned up as best I could, and then went back to the track meet where I had like two more races.
Yeah.
And one of
Just
them
with
I only
no
ran
underwear on.
no underwear on, and
Yeah.
the shortest shorts ever. So then
Mm,
I had to run like the open 400, which is just a long race in these tiny shorts, and I know the mouse was flopping out of the house
yeah.
that whole race.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and then, since I thought that was hilarious, I was like a class clown type in high school, and I thought that's hilarious. So of
Mm,
course, like, I tell my friends because I think it's
yeah.
hilarious. And then
Yeah.
the word spreads, and everybody at the whole track meet knew that happened.
Yeah.
And so then everybody's laughing. Like, luckily, I don't get too ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I thought it was funny. So like, there's kids from other schools that only knew me as the guy that crapped my pants
Yeah.
at the track meet. And so then I'd
Love
see
it.
them for like the year or two, and everybody's like, oh, you're the one that crapped your pants. Like, yep, that was me. And I'd tell them the whole story, and they'd laugh. I think that's a message that, now that I'm thinking about it, a message that I want to like make sure that I impart to my kids is to own it, to own
Yeah.
everything and roll with
Mm-hmm.
it, because that could have been the most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. But
Yeah.
instead, I thought it was funny. And when anybody's like, "Are you the guy that crapped your pants at the track meet?" I was like, "Yeah." And then I told the whole story, and then they're all laughing, and then I'm like part of the joke
Yeah.
instead of the joke being on me.
Yeah.
That was a
Dude,
very valuable lesson.
in elementary school, there was they were called the poop pants. Okay.
Mm,
So if you pooped your pants or if you peed on yourself or wet yourself or whatever, then there was, you go to the office
yeah,
after you clean up or whatever, you get to the school nurse. And because back in the day, parents didn't come to pick you up if you shit your pants.
yeah,
You rode the rest of the day out.
yeah.
And
That's right.
there was this one kid who was always, and this one girl who would always pee herself. I can remember she peed herself. She was so nervous at school, she didn't want to raise her hand.
Oh.
Unfortunately, it's almost sad talking about it.
Yeah.
But she would pee her pants all the time, and she would have to wear the poop or pee poop pants. And then this one kid, he would always be wearing the brown corduroy poop pants that, parents were responsible for washing them and then bringing them back the next day. And,
wow, that was just a staple of this.
It was just like something that was so out of place. Everybody knew who pooped their pants because there was a standard pair of pants that was worn. No. Imagine a teacher on a bullhorn going, okay, Sam shit his pants today. He's right here. Just so everybody knows. Yeah, it's so embarrassing, right? So,
oh my God, should have put
but you do have to own it.
Sleigh bells.
Yeah, but you do have to own it, because I owned the farting on my back thing. I owned it, and I was like, yeah, it's like, looks like I got to keep practicing, because I nailed a comeback line after it, which made me, although put in the friend zone, it also made me the funny guy and not like me getting it. Yeah, I owned it. And you got to own poop. If you poop your pants, own it, basically.
Yeah. Yep. That's totally true. I've got one more. We could just label this episode lowbrow. We'll just call this.
I think I might just episode pooping your pants.
Yeah. Or there was a South Park episode. I think it was called The Brown Note. I don't know if you ever saw that. So some note they played on an instrument, it made everybody poop their pants. Anyway.
Yep.
So when I was in undergrad, my floor in the dorm was so fun. We gelled really well as one of those floors where everybody became friends.
Yep.
And so I met some really fun guys on that floor. And so the hallway in my dorm was super long. Like the people at the other end of the hallway looked really small. And there was a laundry room at one end, and then the other end was just a door to some stairs. So anyway, one of my best friends was all the way down at the end of the hallway, and I'm all the way down at the other end, like right by the laundry room. And I thought, I've got a big fart. I'm going to make it really loud. He's going to hear from all the way at the other end of the hallway. It's going to be hilarious. So I did the whole like wind up and then farted like as loud as I could. Absolutely sprayed my pants. Right? Like I felt it shoot out, spraying a wine go down the back of both of my legs. And I was like, oh God. And so then I told him, oh, dude, I just shit my pants. Hilarious. We held him up, took a picture. And then after that, that was the one time that I didn't own it. And I was kind of embarrassed. And so then I like buried it. I obviously I threw that underwear away, but like we took a picture, and because it was so funny to us at the time. I recognize it as gross now, but it was funny at the time. And then he got the pictures developed, and I stole the pictures from him because I didn't want him it was just me with my boxers. Yeah. And I was like, I don't really want these floating around the dorms. That's not really the look I'm going for right now. So I stole the pictures from him and then gaslighted him. It's like, dude, that never happened. We never took pictures of that. I don't know what you're talking about. And that was like an inside running joke for like 20 years. I don't know. He's like, hey man, where's the poop pictures? And I was like, I have no clue what you're talking about. Yeah. We never took pictures. If you did, you lost them. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I just kept that up for 20 years, even though I know damn well there was. So 20 years later, my parents are like remodeling their house. And, I had this, I grew up in an old farmhouse, and there was like a hole in the floor in my bedroom that was like an old vent for when like there used to be like wood burning stoves and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that made like the perfect hiding place for stuff. Right. So in this hole in the floor that was covered by like this, like really ornate metal cover or whatever. In this hole, I had like, a couple of Playboys, like maybe notes from ex-girlfriends, mm-hmm. like a friend of mine's secret marriage license, and like pictures that I didn't want anybody to ever see. Okay. So I had that was my hiding spot in a shoebox in that hole in the floor. Okay. So now my parents are remodeling their house, and it's my dad and like a few of his friends, and they're ripping out the ceiling in the room below, in the living room below my bedroom. So ripping out the ceiling. This box falls bust open. All this shit flies out everywhere. It's Playboys. It's notes that I didn't want anybody to ever read. And it's all of these embarrassing pictures of me. And my dad's like, what the hell is this? It's him with all his friends. So they must have thought that was hilarious. So then I come to my house with that friend because we were still friends that many years later. And we're like looking through stuff. And he's looking through those pictures and he's like, hey, Kyle, what's this? It was the poo picture that I had been denying for 20 years. And I was like, fuck, you win. He won. I was winning for 20 years to just thinking I could just deny it. And he found it. And that was it. I lost.
So this right here is late high school and college pictures in this back in the day when they were not digital. So what I'm getting at is like,
what's it say on the front?
It says Dan and Friends, high school and beyond.
That's cute. Show the picture. Show the camera. I want to see the cover. Yeah. There you go.
And so it's like, it's from almost my senior year and beyond. And it's just me being drunk and crushing Bud Lights or Bush Lights. That's it. That's all. Right. I mean, that's blacking out drunk.
Yeah.
I'm going to share one horrible. So on our floor, my freshman year in college, we did a lot of pranks to each other. Like we had hardwired phones in our rooms and we had doors that would open inward.
Oh yeah.
And so we would prank each other all the time with just stupid stuff. And well, one day we emptied the trash bin or, I was not involved in this one, but I came up the stairs right after it happened and they took it into the shower and filled it up with water and they leaned it against the door and they knocked on it and walked away. And when the kid opened the door, 55 gallons of water just went right onto his dorm room floor.
Dude.
Ruined everything. And I'm like, I looked at that and I go, that was too far. Like, because it ruined his computer. It ruined, I believe he had some controllers, like video game controllers on the floor, shit like that. Right? It ruined everything that on the floor. So, like it was gnarly. It was gnarly. And I look back at that.
Yep.
I look back at that stuff and I go, I was a douchebag for so many years that I have this insight now on not only being the kid who was picked on, but I also have the insight of being the bully and the insight of like getting bullied, being the bully and making a ton of bad decisions. And, you know, like there's a lot of parents out there that probably don't tell their kids all of those things. I'm going to be the exact opposite. I will tell my kid, and anytime there's a moment, a learning moment, like, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I've told you the story, of this yet or shared it on, or shared it on the podcast, but me and my best friend, my groomsman in my, groomsman in high school, he was in my wedding, my best friend, me and him got into a truck, wrecked it, and we should be dead.
Right.
Our senior year in high school, senior skip day. I may have taken it out actually and shown my daughter. Oh, here it is. I don't know. I know for those of you.
Book.
Yep.
Oh, the truck. Oh yeah,
the
dude.
Truck. Yep. And, yeah. And so a sign, he hit a sign. It went through the windshield. It went out the back window and it landed in the bed of his truck and it didn't hit us.
Yeah. Oh my God. And that's what everyone from our generation would instantly go, that's some Final Destination shit.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And so I look at those moments and I'm just like, dude, I have to tell my kids about drinking. No one talked to me about drinking. No one talked to me about being stupid like that. And if they did, I just wasn't listening. So I'm going to be overboard with all that shit. Like, hey, listen, here's what happens when you treat people like this. It can literally alter their lives. Yeah. I know some kids who took part in some bullying of some individuals. And I mean, I'll be honest, I probably did too. I took part in it, and I'm almost positive it changed the course of this person's life, right? And that's not a good thing. And yes, we were kids, we were young, we were stupid, but I don't want that to happen to my kids. Like, I don't want them to be bullied, and I sure as shit don't want them to be the bully.
Yeah.
And I got a big problem with that too, almost
Yeah.
equally. And
Right.
so I'm gonna share what I'm getting at is I want to share all these stories with my kids to let them
Yeah.
know that every decision you make has the potential to have a huge impact on you or somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. I
Mm-hmm.
think maybe that's the connector of this episode.
Yeah.
It's not, it is just us bullshitting about funny stories from youth, but also connecting it back to like, yeah, you know what are the life lessons that we've learned from this?
100%.
And are we going to let all that information die with us, or are we going to like be cool and share that with our kids?
Yeah.
I think
And I think,
I think that's wise of you.
yeah. And I think like I witnessed that too. I was in high school, I got into this like, youth group at
Mm-hmm.
school, and it didn't necessarily, or, at church, and it was like the high school youth group. And so I was in there with, a lot of kids my own age and older and or younger. And anyway, long story short, we had, I was going through that youth group thing as I was kind of getting into high school, coming out of middle school, where I was probably treating people the way I like definitely should not have been treating them,
Mm-hmm.
or not necessarily stopping when other kids would be getting bullied.
Yeah.
And I identified that, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, you are a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
for doing this, and or not having the cojones to allow it. And so when I got to high school, man, I just became friends with everybody. Right. I became friends with everybody. I didn't like my locker mate was getting bullied at one point, and I was just like, hey, dude, you know, I'm friends with you. I'm friends with you, but I can't allow this to happen. Right? This is my
Yeah.
friend, and you're bullying him. I can't allow
Yeah.
that to happen. You know,
Yeah.
I could have jumped in on some of that shit, but I just
Yeah.
was like, I saw it happen. I saw it, how it affected people, and I realized that I was doing that because I was going through hard times myself when my parents got divorced and my mom married this douchebag.
Yeah.
Um, I felt low and scared and sad, and I felt the only way to bring myself up was to put other people down.
Yeah.
And really what it does is it backfires, and it makes you feel worse.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree
So
with
I'm
you.
going to be
I don't.
vocal about that with my kids.
Damn right, dude. I
Yeah,
respect it. Yep.
yeah, yep,
I wasn't like a bully. I know that there were instances in which I like wasn't nice to people because I was insecure.
yeah,
Luckily I've had the opportunity to repair some of that as I've gotten older and,
yeah,
15, 20 years later, cross paths with that person and be like, hey, can I say something to you real quick? And they're
yeah.
like, yeah. And I just apologize for the thing. And I did that with one guy. I won't share too much of the story, so I don't want to embarrass him, but I was able to apologize to this guy, and just the look on his face of like the resolve of like the resolve and the satisfaction. And it wasn't like a sense of like, yeah, fuck you, Kyle. It was as
Yeah.
a, it was I totally got this sense of like, oh, good. I'm glad that you realized that what you did was shitty.
Yeah.
And that I could acknowledge that what I did was shitty and wrong. And I just saw this look on his face, almost like his shoulders just relaxed. And what I did wasn't horrible or anything like that, but it wasn't nice either. And
Mhm.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
that felt good to apologize for that. And I hope that was I hope that was a little bit of a correction for him too,
Yeah.
that he felt
Yeah.
better after that.
All right. This is a perfect transition into a little bit. I know you wanted to talk about some things, but this is kind of a perfect transition into what I wanted to talk about, and hopefully we can transition at the end into what you kind of
Oh, I
wanted to
don't care.
talk.
Whatever. It's
Yeah,
free flow.
I know, but I think it all kind of ties in, right? So like, I was looking at myself. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on a couple things that have been going on in my life. And I think it fits with this podcast because 45 years old, you're halfway. You're at your halfway point. You're probably
Yeah.
past your halfway point, uh,
Yeah.
for a lot of guys. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And so I have been thinking a lot about the end, or things like retirement and what that looks like, and things
Yeah.
like my health. And so here's the crazy part. I am looking at 2026 like a rebuilding year for me
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
all levels, on all levels. In March, I started kind of backing up a little bit in, I think it was like September, maybe late August or September. I started meeting with a guy, Pastor Brody,
Uh-huh. It's
and
awesome.
doing, amazing person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Doing Bible studies with him every Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and going through the Bible and rereading it. Because when I was at that youth group, we went through the Bible in like a year and a half, 18 months or something like that. And so now we're starting to go through parts of the Bible again, and it has made me understand that I need to rebuild my life, because the way I
Mm-hmm.
was living it was probably not the healthiest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on 9 months of being alcohol free. That's like a
Mm-hmm.
big checkbox for me. Um,
Absolutely.
and then I start to think about it. I have this knee replacement that's happening March 25th, and so
Whoa.
yep, finally got it scheduled. So I'm not
All
only
right. Wow.
rebuilding my body, but I'm
Yeah.
rebuilding my attitude, and I'm also rebuilding, in the process of rebuilding, some faith. I don't know where I'm at with that. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm at with that, but I'm searching for something at this point. There's a void in my life, and I'm searching for something
Mm-hmm.
to replace that, or teach me how to be a better person. And I've somewhat found that in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't me trying to preach about everybody should go get a Bible and start reading it,
Right.
but what I've found is that it is actually helping me answer a lot of internal questions that I have about myself, about how I have behaved in the past, the person that I was in the past. And and so I've been looking at 2026 as, this is the year of the rebuild, the
Mm-hmm.
the remodeling of myself, and not only physically but mentally and spiritually, all at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah,
And
man.
so I'm not looking to come out this completely different person, because I still laugh at Anthony Jeselnik jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm still that person. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to find the best possible way to live the remainder of my life and treat the people who I love the most, and even the people who I do not like at all, in a way that is just overall better, if that
Yep.
makes sense.
Oh, it makes a ton of sense. Makes a ton of sense. And I respect you talking about it.
Yeah.
And I also think like I've read the Bible before, and I haven't in years, but I read it in early adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
I read it when I was a kid, had it read to me multiple times, and I was
Yeah.
very involved in church related stuff. And I don't know where I'm at with my faith either, but I will say that even if you don't believe in God at all, you should still read the Bible. The
Mm-hmm.
Bible is a collection of, you know, a couple thousand years of knowledge and understanding. And even if you don't believe in any higher power, there are some lessons, some stories, some parables, some lessons in that book that'll just floor you. You'll go,
Mm-hmm.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang it. That's right. I
Yeah.
never thought of it like that. And that's really true.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
been it's
That's
been
cool.
hitting me hard when I get into it now, and I find myself going back to it when I'm stressed. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason is because the first time I read it, it was probably like, the Bible. I don't want to read the Bible. It's the most boring book. So I
Yep.
read the words, right? I just read the words. Now, as a man who's been through a life, half a life, who has read it, I look at things and am able to understand
Mm-hmm.
and apply meaning to
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and reflection to it, and go, oh, okay,
Yeah.
this hits home now. It's not just words, right?
Yeah.
It's more than that. And so
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. For me, it's just been it's been the right fit. And like, I haven't been approaching it like I'm here to check some boxes. Like, I'm just here to check some boxes so I get into
Yeah,
heaven. That's
yeah.
not
You're
what
not
I'm
forced to
doing.
be doing this. You chose to do
Exactly.
this now. You brought
Exa-
this into your own life.
exactly. And
Uh-huh.
so it has a different meaning to it. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Is it still just you and Pastor Brody?
Yep.
Wow, that just means that you guys aren't advertising it, because I feel like that would
Yeah.
catch on like wildfire
Yeah.
if people knew that that was like an open group.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
Yeah.
is, but
Yeah. As of right now, it's not.
yeah,
It's
you
just
guys just
us
meet.
two kind of talking every day, and what's cool about it. And this is where I didn't want it to be so one sided. Like, oh, here's all my problems, and here's, let's study
Yeah.
this, dude. It's a two-way conversation a lot of the times, and it's awesome. It's almost like I'm 45. I have friends, but I don't hang out with anybody. Right? I'm so
Yeah.
busy with the
Great.
kids. So from
Yeah.
like a man perspective, it's cool to sit down with another man
Yeah.
who has two kids and who has real world problems just like you
Oh yeah.
do,
Yeah.
and just BS. And so that almost kind of turns into almost a secondary conversation out of all this. It's almost like, dude, find a dude to have coffee with, or find a buddy to just
Yeah.
sit down and bullshit. I know I have a friend who lives really close, and I need to do more of that. Um, I need to do more of that and schedule some time. Like the guy that I almost died with in that car wreck, he lives very close to me now, and he's
Yeah.
going through. He has the same real world problems that I do
Mhm.
with kids, and I've been through everything that he's about to go through, kind of, as far as the age of the kids are
Yeah.
concerned,
Yeah.
and so I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that's interesting. Your story is interesting, that you've like your life story about how you've kind of you pulled back from friends to focus on family, which is fine, but then also after a while kind of realize like, oh, maybe there is something to that connection. So I would like to have that, but you'll return to it with a with more appreciation for it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of what I'm trying to do and to better myself is to, I don't know how your house is, but there's times in my house where there is a ton of chaos,
Wow.
just through scheduling and work and
Oh yeah.
everybody living in close quarters. I mean, you know the drill.
Yeah.
And I am trying to be a source of calmness in the rough seas, if that makes
Mhm.
sense,
It does.
and show people that you don't have to get crazy when pressure hits. You
Yeah.
can control it, and you can be, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, for sure.
you can be
What
calm.
sparked this? What sparked this for you?
The chaos of life.
Uh-huh.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
What sparked it is, I hope this doesn't sound political, because it really wasn't. It was watching Charlie Kirk get murdered
Yeah.
for his beliefs in whatever it is he was believing in.
Yeah.
And I felt like I connected with him a lot, because I felt like he was preaching some good things. He was a man of the Bible. He was a man of faith. He had some of his ideas were pretty crazy, but he also had some of his, but he had this belief system that was kind of close to mine.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, this guy just got murdered for doing nothing other than talking about how he felt. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to flip the script here and say, if someone else that was like completely 360 of him, or 180 of how he believed, got murdered like that, I also don't think that is a necessary response.
Right.
Right? Like, that is the way of the world now. And kind of going back to the Bible, that was the way of even before the Old Testament. The Old Testament preached an eye for an eye, which was extremely brutal. If someone,
Yeah.
poked your eye out, you take their eye too.
Yeah.
Right. But before that, before the Old Testament, it was, if someone poked your eye out, you take their life. You
Yeah.
just straight up kill them.
Yeah.
And so we're heading backwards. Like, we are so divided as a country, and as not even just as a country, but as a group of people filled with hatred towards each other. And we don't even know each other, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're coming front. It's almost like, dude, some of my best friends, I can remember a moment there with one of my best friends, and we've been best friends our entire life. And then politics got brought up probably 35 years into our friendship. And we fucking went at each other hard one night. I mean, we went at each other.
Yeah.
We went at it hard. And then we left angry at each other. And I'm like, dude, you know how stupid that is?
Yeah.
To just be friends for 35 years and then one thing triggers it to fall apart? And this whole cancel culture where you're like, well, if you believe this, unfollow me or stop being my friend, blah, blah, blah. I believe that people can and should take stands on what they believe in, but you also shouldn't like lead with the here. Hey, just to let you know, I believe this, this, and this, and this, and this. You in or you out.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's how we should live our lives. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. I think it's a trap that a lot of people fall into, which is only hanging out with people that share as close to your beliefs as possible.
Right.
And I get the allure, like on the surface, that kind of looks like maybe what you should do, but I think that's really superficial. I think it's a deeper thing to be able to figure out how to be friends, or at least tolerate or be open to all kinds of people.
Right.
So I think you're foolish if you don't understand somebody else's perspective. I think you're so much more likely to just straight up demonize them. And you turn the other group into something that they're not in your own head. Well, they must be this and this and this and this and this and that. It's like, well, if you hung out with them, you'd realize that you probably have a ton in common with them.
100%.
They probably love their kids just as much as you love your kids. They probably are have a lot of the same struggles. They're trying to pay their bills. They're trying to be honest. They just have a different view in whatever area. And I think it's sad if we just totally write an entire group of people off.
And this is where I get the most upset about politics. Like, dude, I've gotten to a point where I just think all politicians are scumbags. I don't care what part of politics you're involved in. You lie, you cheat, you say whatever it takes to get elected, right? Here's what I feel. I look at this and I haven't heard it. I haven't heard this come from a politician. What does someone who is pro-gun and anti-gun have in common with someone who is pro-life and pro-choice, and who is also what's another one? What's another big one? But those are two hot topics. What's another big one?
Gender pay gap.
Yeah. Maybe a gender or
women's rights, trans rights.
Trans versus like the people who are Bible beaters or whatever the case is, right?
Right.
You know what they all have in common? They all pay the same gas prices. They all pay the same electricity bill. They all pay the same insurance. Like insurance is maybe a tricky one, but they all pay the same taxes, for the most part. Right.
Yeah.
There's some things in there, but nobody talks about that. Nobody says what makes us American and makes us united. There's a lot more of that than the 3 or 4 things that we just mentioned.
Right.
Right. It's like the people who are struggling with finances, who are gay, are also the same people who are struggling on their finances, who are pro-gun, like
right.
Two things that don't often get mentioned at the same time. But guess what? All those things are the same for us.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right.
And it's just like one little chink in the armor is all I need to attack you. I'm like, dude, it's getting old, man. It's getting fucking old.
Yeah.
And that comes from all sides to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree. So then what will you do differently than that?
You mean as far as
Your daily life?
oh, treat people with respect. It's very simple. It is a very simple thing. Acts of kindness to complete strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yesterday I held a door. There's this girl younger than me. I don't know how old she was, but I'm going to say late 20s, early 30s. I held the door open for her and she was surprised and like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like it had never been done for her before.
Right.
And I'm just like, that's standard practice, I feel.
Yeah,
Like
it should
just
be.
holding the door open for someone, saying, excuse me, like,
Yeah.
hey, sir, you dropped this. Like
Yeah.
going out of your way to help other people and be kind and just, and if shit comes your way, eat a shit sandwich, dude. Don't blow little things out of proportion because that's just a waste of energy. Just
Mm-hmm.
try to be a better person. And that's the goal in
Yeah.
2026, or it has
Yeah.
been since I started doing this Charlie Kirk thing. Because before Charlie Kirk, I would say I was way more divisive in my
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. It's like this, got to be this, got to be this, and
Yeah.
now I'm
Yeah.
just like
Fuck them.
the dude. You got to step back from the television and the outside world for a moment, and you got to look at your kids and how fast they're aging and growing, and you're like, so here's one thing I do. I take old pictures, Kyle, whether it's football pictures or dance pictures or just a funny picture of them as maybe a baby.
Yeah.
And I put it inside of the most popular cabinets in our house.
Oh,
so
yeah.
every morning when I reach for a coffee cup, I open the door and I look at these pictures of my kids. And it is a constant reminder that life is fast and your kids are going to be out of the house in a matter of moments.
Yeah.
And then you'll never get that back again.
Yeah.
And all the stress that is in your life, you're going to look back and go, that was not worth it.
Right.
That was not worth getting mad at them over that. It was not worth like, oh, they spilled a little bit of jelly on the floor and you threw a fucking fit. What a dumbass.
Yeah.
You know, like, who cares, man? It's just a little jelly on a floor that won't be here in 100 years.
Yeah.
Like, your kids are going to be moved out of the house, and then you're going to wish every day they were back in the house.
Yeah. Right.
And
no, that's a great perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm just trying to be the best possible version of myself.
There you go. I like a lot of what you said, for obvious reasons. I think a key word that you said, and you said multiple times, is the word trying, which means that you're being purposeful, which means that there's real effort. Because a lot of people think they're good people. A lot of people want to be good people, but they don't move past the insight stage. They're just like, they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And also they just stay in their old ruts and they don't make any changes. And what you're talking about is like actively trying to make changes, which is, it's kind of uncomfortable because it doesn't come naturally. Everything that you do, everything that you're trying to do that isn't what you usually do is kind of like you walking against the current, like it takes effort. The easy way is to go with your internal flow. However you've always been, just keep doing that. And then, you can have an insight like, oh, I wish I would yell less at home. But if you don't do anything about yelling at home, then you're no better off.
Exactly.
You're not a better person just because you had the idea I shouldn't yell.
Yeah.
You'd be a better person for actually trying to yell less. So I like that you said, I'm trying to do these things. You're being purposeful.
And all of these things, and I think what's hard for a lot of people, it's a reconditioning of who you actually currently are. And I kind of used this metaphor, if you want to call it a metaphor. If you want abs, you got to do sit-ups, right? If you want to be a good person, you got to do good things for others. It's very simple. But I'll tell you this, it's snowballing. It has a snowballing effect, and it's cool to just hear someone else throughout a day say thank you. Maybe when you're not getting it at home, or you live in a chaotic environment
Mm.
and you go out and it's something simple to make somebody else happy, that can snowball. And that you have no idea. Maybe that person was having a bad day and a simple door opening for them was like, huh, well, thank you. And then
Yeah.
that triggered him for just a moment to go treat someone else.
Yeah.
And then in this world then becomes less negative and more positive.
I agree with you. Totally agree with you. Also, it feels good to be the one to open the door and to be of
Yeah.
service to someone and to know that like you don't need to know the ripple effect of what you did, but to know like, hey, that felt good for me to do that for that other person. That's cool too.
Right. Right. Right.
I love it, dude. I love
Yeah.
it. That's good.
What is there a version of you? I don't want to say you're trying to fix, like, I'm not trying to fix myself. I'm on this, dude, it sounds so like hippie-ish, but like
Yeah.
on this journey of self exploration
Yeah. That's
and
good.
trying to find a better version of myself.
Dude, that's
Are
good.
you
That's
in a
very awesome.
process? Are you in a process of that, or is it just like constantly?
Yeah. I think I've ebbed and flowed in my life of when I felt like I'm doing better or worse about like the type of person that I am.
Yeah.
Parenting and marriage are a lot harder than I thought they would be. I knew they'd
Yeah.
be hard. I didn't know how hard it would be or in what ways it would be hard. Um, I'm I have found myself really surprised with like how frustrated I can get around the house and how those little things can add up and make me mad and irritated and I appreciate when I have like a reminder of, oh yeah, dude, your kids are growing up fast. Like you don't want them to just remember you being mad all the time. So I try really hard, being purposeful, not just like, well, whatever happens, happens, but like every day I try to speak kindness into my kids. I try really hard to like make average moments fun. Um, I try really hard. I very purposefully talk really positively about my wife in front of my kids because I want
Mm,
them to hear that and I want to build that up in them. The thing that I dislike about myself most right now that I'm struggling with is how irritated I get over little things and trying to figure out how to keep that in check. Um, and it's funny because I'm a counselor, so like I talk about this stuff all day long with other people, and I'll even tell my clients like, "Hey, by the way, I'm not just preaching at you. Everything that I say to you, I'm in the back of my mind thinking like, yeah, Kyle, that's right.
yeah.
You better, you
Yeah.
should be doing that stuff." And I'm not perfect. I'm not even close to perfect. It's my biggest area of frustration right now with myself is how frustrated I'll get with the kids and like how my own brain gets hijacked when my son like is being really, back talking and he's just tired and he's 7. So he's like a normal 7-year-old. If he's been on his devices too long or he's hungry or he's
Mm,
tired, that he's in a bad mood or he just doesn't want to stop something fun that he's doing. And then I like get mad too. And I'm like, Kyle, you're 42. Like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you getting so mad? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, they don't listen and da 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 da. And I think I have all these justifications for how mad I'm getting. And I always have to remind myself, like, none of that's an excuse, dude. Like, you still
Yeah.
have to be in control of you. And so I'm not doing it perfectly. One thing I did when my kids were really little and I didn't like how much I was like, how mad I could get at like a 3-year-old, I took a Sharpie and I wrote on the back of my hand, BC for be calm,
Mm,
WA for walk away, DY for don't yell. I wrote
yeah.
that in Sharpie because when I was in my right mind, when I was calm, I knew I didn't want to yell at my kids. I didn't want to
Mm,
be a yeller. But when I was in the moment, I was just get so mad, and I didn't have access to the
yeah.
thoughts that I had when I was calm. So that's when
Yeah.
I started writing on my hand, and I thought, you know what? I'd rather look like a junior high school kid that can't remember his homework, so he wrote on his hand. I'd rather be like that than yell at my kids. And
Yeah.
so it really worked because when I'd start like, I'd be about to like yell at my daughter and I'd see that on the back of my hand, I'd go in my bedroom and I would just calm down. I wouldn't let
Mm,
myself come out until I was calm again. And sometimes I
yeah.
would do like just body weight squats. I would just do squats until I couldn't do another one to get my anger out. Or I would just do push-ups until I couldn't do another one to get my
Yeah.
anger out. And then I'd sit there and breathe and let my heart rate come down. And I'd be like, all right, she's only 3. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing, dude?
Yeah.
And then I go back
Yeah.
out and reconnect. So yeah, it's holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
is hard, but have to be purposeful.
Yeah. One thing that I've been working on, I haven't mastered it yet, but it's when other people in the house are frustrated, and you can
Yeah.
probably read
Yeah.
between the lines on this one,
Yeah.
or frustrated, and it's over something that is probably very small, right? You know what, I get it, like making a mountain out of a molehill type of moment.
Yeah.
And I used to get influenced by that frustration and then try to calm the entire house down so that like I was shielding
Yeah.
the rest of the house from a specific person. And I was getting really fired up at the rest of the house because of that person, so that
Yeah.
it would I'm trying to stop doing that.
Yeah.
That person's frustrations is their own problem. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just ignoring it. Even if it's something minor and small that will pass, I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, this is not a big deal. And I just ignore it. And
Yeah.
it's almost like sometimes there's people in this world who are like, I'm frustrated at this. Aren't you? And
Right.
they're trying to recruit you into
Yeah.
negative energy, into
Yeah.
feeling the same way about something that you don't care about, or it's not
Yep.
as important to you, or you have a different set of pressure management skills than they do. And you're able to just like calmly go, you know what? I can fix it in a second. Like,
Yep.
how about you just take a deep breath and relax,
Yep.
right? It's not a
Yep.
big deal. And so I used to try to block that and shield others from that. And I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm trying not to do it anymore. I'm
Yeah.
just like ignoring it. And hopefully they see that the energy that they're putting into this thing is not worth it.
Yeah. Good job. And that's a good example of you actually doing something different rather than just having the insight of, oh, I don't like this, or I should or shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Now the counselor in me wants to explain the idea of like mental frames. So what you're talking about is two mental frames colliding. And so like that person A has their mental frame of like the mood that they're in and how they're seeing the situation, and person
Right.
B has their mental frame of how they see the situation. And then those two frames collide, and what happens is the stronger frame devours the weaker frame.
Yeah.
And if you know this is true, then you can start to make it your goal to protect your frame and to not
Yeah.
let the other person's frame devour yours. And you can
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I hear you. I hear everything that you're saying and thinking and feeling, and I see everything that you're doing, and I'm not getting on board. I'm holding my
Yeah.
frame." So you're
Yeah.
talking about holding your frame. Like, I'm not going to get on board with you. I'm part of the problem with getting on board with someone else's frame, if you don't agree with it, is that it means you're abandoning yourself. It means you're taking the path of least resistance. And I don't mean to sound shitty when I say this, but you're being a bit of a coward because you're abandoning your true values, and you're potentially letting the less healthy frame win. And then that means so you're abandoning yourself, and then you're sacrificing the people who are affected negatively by that.
Dude, those might have been the most truest words that I've connected with that you have ever said.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I've felt for so long like I have altered who I am to please other groups of people in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when that really hit home, dude.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I read about it, it hit home for me too. I didn't make
Yeah.
that. I wish I was smart enough to have made all that up.
Yeah. But
Yeah. That's so
I'm
true.
glad you said that. I mean, that's just like perfect timing for what's going on. It's like, I don't get frustrated really easy. I know I can handle a ton
Mm-hmm.
of pressure. I've been through, like, all the things in my life have led me to do great at handling pressure, high pressure situations.
Yeah.
And then being influenced by someone who can't do that throughout the years,
Uh-huh.
or others who can't do that. It's like, oh my God, this is the big deal. I'm like, actually, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
let's fix it.
Yeah.
Ah, woo, woo.
Yep.
And so it's like, all right, whenever you're done, man, we can go. It's like,
See, and that's being a leader. That's being a
yeah,
leader. There's a like a parenting coach that I loosely follow, and if anybody ever wants to check it out, her website I think is called bratbusters.com.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. And she talks all the time about being a leader and
Yeah,
not buying into other people's stuff and not shaming anybody for their behaviors, but holding fast, staying anchored in what you know is right.
yes.
Bratbusters.com. She has a great
Okay.
podcast. Her and her daughter talking about parenting and all this stuff. Yeah, don't abandon yourself. Don't sacrifice your family.
Yeah, I feel
Because
that.
it's very normal to experiment with that. Where like if person A is getting all wound up and person B is calmer, it's normal for person B to like experiment with like, well, let me see if I just go with person A, mm, I don't think they're gonna go with me. So if I go with them, like maybe then I'll have some influence. And it's like, no, you don't. You
Yeah,
don't, because they just overpower. That's all they're
exactly.
going to do is overpower. Also, this isn't a super flattering thing, and I would apply this to myself as well. But oftentimes, the person that's like losing control, they actually want and need someone to be stronger.
Hmm.
And if we look at it from like a like let's say that the kid in the person in the scenario is a child that's like losing their shit and very emotional and can't control themselves. They don't need their parent to get on board with that. They need their parent to be strong enough to not let them win.
Right.
Because what happens is if a kid learns that they are more powerful than the person that's supposed to be taking care of them, that's terrifying.
Hmm.
And then what that leads to is the kid always trying to be in control.
Yeah.
And that's scary because they shouldn't be in control. And so then we can apply this to adults too. I think that if there's a person who is doesn't feel like someone else is in control or is a strong enough leader, then they'll overpower everybody with their emotionality. And
Yeah.
what they really need is someone else to be strong enough to stand up to them. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean in a negative, shitty way. It just means they need someone else to be strong enough to hold their frame.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, then they learn like, okay, I'm just going to do what I do harder. That's
Yeah.
all they have.
You brought this up last week, about the difference in how kids treat their fathers versus their mothers, and this is just generalization. And I'm sure if we're talking about it, others that see it too. Why do
Mm-hmm.
you think that's the case? Why do you think kids give their moms a hard time and will in certain scenarios do whatever dad says whenever dad says? Like for me, I walk into a room and I say, you do the dishes, you empty the silverware, you go
Yeah.
clean the shoe area. And
Yeah.
they don't give me shit. They
Yeah.
go and they do it.
Yeah.
Other times when the mom says, calm down and do this, do this, there's, like there's a delay. They just like, oh, let me finish this one thing. They don't like all that stuff. They like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're walking all over her, but
Yeah.
they walk all over. They walk on her sometimes. You know what I mean? Why do
Yeah.
you think that is?
Okay. So I do have some thoughts on this.
Yeah.
So I heard this from a psychologist that I follow, and when he said it, some things clicked for me and fell into place. Um, he said, "Moms have to fall so in love with their kids to be able to get through all of the stress that it takes to carry a child, to birth a child, to nurture a child, an infant. They're screaming, they're
Mm-hmm.
freaking out, they're
Mm-hmm.
inconsolable. Nothing you can do can like make them happy. And then they're extremely difficult through ages, 1, 2, 3, where there's just no rationality or reasoning. That moms have to fall so in love with their kids to be able to get through that it can be really hard for a mom to turn around and be a disciplinarian.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that, I was like, fuck, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Because I will say, like, I mean, I was very, very, very active and involved when my kids were born. And I always look forward to it my whole life. And Absolutely loved it. And dude, I'll say, like, I have to give my wife credit. She's just built different. Like, the kid could just scream in her face for hours and she would just love on him. And if the kid's screaming in my face for hours, like, I'm trying to be the best dad that I can be, but man, I'm starting to like fray at the seams, at the edges, you know?
Yeah.
And I really saw that, like, whoa, that's so true. She has a different capacity there. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, a really good dynamic is two parents that are loving and kind but firm, but the mom tends to be more nurturing and the dad tends to be more of the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
Now, I think we weren't all lucky enough to like see that. Also, it's funny that we can see it and not act it out very well. So the to my knowledge, the best parenting method is kind and firm.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you're firm, you're the leader, you're setting the terms and you're making all of the decisions, but you're not a dickhead while you're doing it.
Right.
So so a dad that can do that, and you tend to see it with dads that command respect, and I mean respect, not just fear, because like the kids can fear the dad and they'll hop to it because they're afraid of dad. That's one thing. If the kids are hopping to it because they respect dad, and meaning that they know dad means what he says, like, we're training our kids and they're training us. That's another part of it. That if you whichever parent asks the kids to do something 10, 15 times and then ends up yelling, you're training your kids that they don't have to follow your directions until you yell. And you're going to
Yeah.
blame it on them, but it's really your fault. You're the
Yeah.
leader.
Right.
And that's what that Brat Busters lady talks about, is you're the leader. If you're asking them 10 times and then on the 11th time you yell and you really force them to do it, they're learning, oh, the first mom doesn't mean it the first 10 times she asks.
Yeah.
Dad doesn't mean it the first 10 times he asks. I can keep playing Nintendo until dad yells. That's what they
Yeah.
learn. And you're teaching them that.
Yeah.
You're training them. You're conditioning them.
Dude, I will say this. That's 100% spot on in my life. Because I used to give my kids a long fuse and then I would get angry. And they get conditioned to that fuse.
Yeah.
And now,
they get it.
Dude, now recently I've stopped yelling so much and being more under control. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at it.
Yeah.
But now, because of my calmness and my patience, when I ask my kids to do something, it's almost immediately. And if they ask me and they say, "Hey Dad, I'm in the middle of this game. Can I get 5 more minutes?" I say yes. Yep. Perfect. And then I hold them accountable. If 5 minutes has passed, then I'm like, "Hey, you told me 5 minutes. It's been 10. Go handle it."
That's right.
You said you were going to do it. Now go do it.
That's right. Yep.
But I didn't have to yell. And most of the time now it's done like, "Hey, you two, empty the dishwasher." They'll stop what they're doing and they know, because I also follow through with the disciplinary part of that too.
Right.
And if they don't do it, I just unplug the video game from the wall and I take the controllers and hide them for a week.
That's exactly it.
Right. And so they know now, if they want their free time, that has to be earned.
That's right.
So,
Dan, kids crave a healthy leader.
Yeah.
A healthy leader that the kids know is strong literally makes the kid feel safe.
Yeah.
So like, kids would act like they want free reign of the house and to do whatever they want. But dude, kids know what they want. They don't know what they need.
Yeah. Yes.
And so the best way to parent is have clear rules that are enforced predictably.
Yeah.
Kind and firm. Hey, here's the rules so that you know what's expected of you. And then I enforce them kindly and firmly. And it's not sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I do when I'm not tired, but when I'm tired, I ignore you or I yell, or sometimes I let you be on shit all day and sometimes I don't. It can't be like that. And that's where we have to step up as parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I don't know where we were going to transition to this, but you had something that you wanted to talk about today. And do we have time for it?
I'm okay with tabling it. Let's just table it, because it'll still be appropriate to talk about next time.
Okay. So let's make sure that next week, hopefully I didn't hog this episode.
No, this was great. Dude, this is always free flow as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And so next week I want you to go, "No, Dan, I got this episode because I don't know. I do this all day long, where I'm creatively because I host 5 other podcasts.
Yeah.
Where I'm like creatively, I'm the guy in charge of all of it. And so
right.
sometimes I
love
feel
it,
on
dude.
this.
I have zero complaints. I would say, hey, dude, I really want to talk about this. If I ever have an idea to talk about, I can add it to the list of things, and then we talk about whatever's salient. So I might not even feel about.
So how
about
this? We end it this way. What will we be talking about next week?
As of right now, I would like to talk about family vacations next week.
Spring break's coming up, buddy.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that is a hot topic.
Yeah.
And a cause of potential frustration in our house.
Yeah.
And there might be a little bit of keeping up with the Joneses type of vibes that go on. Yeah.
That can happen.
So,
there you go.
Great topic. Yeah, absolutely. Great topic. Can't wait to talk about it next week. Kyle, man, I'm going to say this. I always appreciate you taking time out of your day to hop on and be part of this podcast, man. I think your insight and your knowledge from the counselor point of view is awesome.
Oh yeah. I have so much fun. Oh, I get a lot out of this too, man. I enjoy this time. So thank you for setting this up.
So, just kind of to those who are listening to this podcast, whether you're on Spotify or you're on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, do me a huge favor and go to those places and leave us a 5-star review. It lets everybody know that, I guess we're trustworthy, or let them know that we're not also educational. We're also the kind of people who talk about pooping your pants throughout life.
Yeah, for a solid half hour. Yeah,
exactly. And so outside of that, we also have a YouTube channel. So if you could just go search Man Therapy Podcast, you're going to find our YouTube channel, subscribe to that. And as soon as we get, I'm not sure how YouTube works 100% yet, but we get a certain number of subscribers, it kind of unlocks us to do some more cool and unique things. So outside of that, good vibes, everybody. Hopefully you have a great day. Kyle, appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next week.